Did you know that there are a set of characteristics that define what a cult is and help us separate one from different types of movements? Here we are going to talk all about this from the theoretical and experiential point of view. In a moment. Hi everyone, this channel is about taking control of our personal evolution, both spiritually and here in this lifetime. What brings us to this super important topic, cults and how to distinguish them. If you have had the opportunity to see my TEDx talk, you know that I have a very serious approach to this. I think it's super important that we distinguish something that would be just interfering with people's lives or creating theories that are not founded from efforts, real efforts to understand our life in a more subtle way, more thinking about who we are inside. But how easy is it? I think it's super difficult because when we are talking about something that is a subjective experience, that leaves a lot of room for exploitation. And on top of that, human brain is wired to have beliefs. Human brain is wired in a way to have somebody telling them what to do with their lives. So the two things combined may be very dangerous, and very often we see movements that were intended to be, or at least should be, just a philosophical movement or maybe just a study group. Little by little they start acquiring some characteristics of sects or cults. I myself, unfortunately, must say that I have a personal experience with that. Those of you who have read my book, Vibrational State and Energy Resonance, you know that I make a personal statement about my experience through this. I have been working with a group for a long time that originally intended to do science about paranormal phenomena, if I would say in this way, or what is the reality beyond this physical world. But little by little, because of the leader, because of the followers and the group there together, with a mind that were very prone to want some of the characteristics of cults, that group started changing. And I tell a lot about that in my book. If you would like to know, you can just read the first pages of my book. It is in the preface of the English edition that you can find in Amazon. I'll put a link for you, so we do not have to repeat here what's in there. But there are specific organizations and specific groups and group therapy only to help those who were part of a cult, and most of the times not knowing they were part of a cult, and they are trying to get out of it. It can be super painful, super difficult, super traumatizing, and most of all, it can be an experience that makes the person shy, maybe afraid of having friends, afraid of contacting others. And because of this, it's important that we know some of these characteristics that define these groups. As you can see, I have here a pile of some of the books that I have in my library that I brought here. I'm doing a lot of study about this, and I'm writing papers on that. And some of these books are very known, some not so known, but you have here Eyes Wide Open, the Guru Papers, Cults Inside Out, New Religious Movements, and Freedom of Mind, and bunch of others. I will just put a picture and list them for you if you're interested. But my point here is, a cult does not tell you, hey, you are starting with a cult. On the contrary, the whole point is to mask that into something else. It's not to show what it really is. And that becomes very, very problematic, because good people, intelligent people, smart people, they end up being deceived. But the point is, why? What is in there that they do not see, even when it is sometimes obvious? So the case here is, some of these characteristics, if we are aware of them, it can help us. I have here with me a list of these characteristics, and this is from a study of Lalich and Langone. I love the summary they did here. So it's 14 items that I will very briefly comment on them and mention. But the first one that's very important, very critical, is the group displays unquestioning commitment to its leader, be him or her alive or that, and they follow their ideology without even thinking twice, no matter when, no matter how. Even if the leader is committing acts that the group or some of the individuals of the group do not agree with, still they accept. Still they think there's got to be an explanation because he is special, he's a master, he's the professor, so he's got to be so right. Second point is questioning and doubt are discouraged and punished. So not only the group blindly follows the leader, but if anybody in the group tries to even question slightly what the leader is saying, what the leader is prophesying or determining, that person is going to be persecuted and is going to be punished. Punishment can be in many different ways. Indifference can be in terms of ridiculing the person in public. Punishment can be psychological torture, or in some cases, sad to say, can be even much worse things. Third point is that very routinely repetitive meetings or talks or discussions or debate in public or whatever in which the leader is there always as a very strong presence are repeated. So can be a ritual, can be just an exercise, just a meditation practice, but the point is that is very often, until it starts altering the mind and the way of thinking of the participants, and that causes that they no longer disagree with anything. They reduce their capacity to judge what's going on, so that absolute immersion and repetition of the process end up creating some level of brainwashing. Number 4, here is super complete and well written actually. The leadership dictates, sometimes in great detail, and indeed I've seen that, how members should think, act, and feel, who they should marry, how many children they should have, how they should marry, and also what type of clothes they should wear, and this sort of thing. So when it gets to the point that this level of detail in one's personal life is being dictated, is not studied, is not analyzed, is not seeing different characters, is informed, but informed in a way that is, if you are evolved, if you are special, and if you are really part of our special group, then that's what you should do. The 5th characteristic is very important and match perfectly in sequence with the 4th one, because the leader somehow convinces the group that they are special, that they have a mission and understand something that no one else does, and they are supposed to inform or save everyone else, and the leader puts himself, and the others accept, that the leader is a messiah, a professor, somebody that is enlightened, that has a level that no one else will ever reach. And if anyone starts getting closer and having experience that are similar apparently to the leader, so the leader will explain his own experience and describe other new experience as much higher. And therefore, nobody will ever be allowed to get closer to the leader, because he is the one that's really the savior. Either the word savior is used or not. Either it's obvious or very well deceived there in the group. That's what ends up happening. Number 6 is that the group has a type of vision about themselves that is very polarized. So it's us versus them. Anyone who do not think exactly in the same way, but it has to be exact, not even 1% different. No difference at all is accepted in opinions or behavior or anything. So those who are not exactly like them are the enemies. So they find that common enemy, and therefore becomes very hard for them to integrate sometimes with the society, because they act differently and do not accept the natural differences or preferences that people would have, which is part of freedom, which is part of the most important thing that we have and we should cherish: freedom of thinking, freedom of deciding. The 7th is that the leader is not accountable and do not answer to anyone. So whatever the leader does even if others think, that end up resulting badly, something bad came out of it, nobody can question, nobody has the authority to question. The leader is the final word, the person who determines everything. The eighth characteristic is that the group believes they are so right and so special and so supported by the leader that many of the participants of the group end up doing things that they wouldn't normally, they don't think is correct. For example, lying to a relative, leaving a relative behind, leaving a job that they like but somehow it's not allowed, or choosing a profession that only because the leader say that's what it has to be, or even questioning a friend, a good person in public in horrible ways, in a manner of like an inquisition or torture, or others would, for example, conspire against friends, against family, as I said. So things that people wouldn't do, they end up doing because they are part of that special group who is right and have a mission. Ninth characteristic is that the leadership creates some sort of peer pressure or persuasion to convince people that they are not as good, they feel guilty, they feel down, they feel they need the approval of the leader in order to be good members, in order to be well prepared for whatever is it that they believe they are going to do. So in some cases the leader would say, but you don't do that yet. But that is so easy. I think anyone who doesn't do that is because blah, blah. Or ridicule the person. Oh, I know your past life. Your past life was A or B. Or, hey, I know something about you. You have this and these characteristics. Anything. So creating situations in which the person feels guilty and feels down, either directly or through peer pressure. We all need to accomplish A or B in order to be good. The 10th characteristic is that to be part of that group, the member must cut ties with family members or friends who are not in line with the group, and often they have to have completely different activities or jobs or personal goals in order to follow the group. Number 11, the group is preoccupied with bringing new people, but that is not something that is done in a very open way, just by inviting and being clear what they are going to find there and what they are joining in. No, that is made through seduction, manipulation, usually convincing people that there is something good there, that they have a mission or something that they have to do. And the reason for bringing new people is to have more members to work and make the whole cult more powerful. They want young people, they want healthy people, they want people who are good workers, they want people who have money, who have power in a way. Number 12, the group is very preoccupied with money. Usually they would like donations, they would like contribution to their tasks, to their goals, to their purposes, to their projects, but those who are part of the members of the group, they are supposed to work for free unless they already have money they are going to donate. But otherwise, you work for free. It's a favor we do to you to be part of the group and to give you the opportunity to contribute with your work for this wonderful, whatever they think they are doing that is wonderful. But their issue is, some people are not supposed to get any money for what they do, whilst others, they want all of the donations. And the cult per se keeps getting more and more powerful with buildings and structures that are just to show off, just to have a demonstration of power instead of buildings that are there for a reason, for a function, for a practicality, rather than showing power. Number 13, members are supposed to devote time to the group activities and to the group per se. So if there is a daily discussion or a daily debate on special topics, or if there is a periodical meditation or practice, or if you have to contribute with some work and you are not doing enough, you end up being pressured in a way like something is wrong with that person, there is evil there, the person is losing its ways or his ways because he's not participating enough and is not dedicating time enough. So time and participating in the activities in the way they want you to is an issue. Number 14, members are discouraged to have relationships or contact with those who are not part of the group for obvious reasons, because that could contaminate their minds or influence them to dedicate less time, less money, less effort, less work for the group per se and the cult per se. But especially they are discouraged very hardly to be in contact with anyone who left the group, because then those who left would be seen as a very, very bad influence who thought in a different way. So part of the deal. And the fifth and last topic in this study is members who are more deeply into the group, maybe they are there for a longer time, or maybe they participated more in the activities, they were more integrated, they feel there's no life outside of the group. They feel they cannot leave. And even if they would like to leave, just the fact of thinking about it, considering, they feel guilty and very afraid of being reprimanded in a way for their action and initiative of considering leaving that specific cult. One point not so deeply contemplated in Lalich and Langone study, however important, is that besides a very strong leader, besides that figure that is what binds everyone together, there is usually also a geographical reference. So a place where everyone must go, everyone must live in or must stay there. And once people are there for long enough and they are completely into those behaviors and thoughts that are established by the group, then they are sent to different places to maybe spread the word of the leader and the ways of working for the leader, just to bring more and more members to that geographical center. Anyways, something that repeats over and over, that has been studied a lot. Lots of study here. Again, I'll list all of this for you in the comments down below and also show you the pictures. Lots of interesting things here. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found the discussions and the topics interesting. I find it fascinating. I think it makes us think about how the brain works, consciousness per se, who we are, and psychology, psychological aspects, sociology and sociological aspects. So many different factors integrates to create this reality and this problem somehow that we have been discussing here. So lots for us to study and understand. Thank you so much for being with me. If you think this video was useful, please give me a like so that I know I am on the right track and communicating well with you. And see you in the next video. Thanks.